Hey team, we are back and today we are taking on the single price grid component, which at a high level looks very simple, but when I was trying to go through this challenge, I actually found a couple hiccups here that really threw me for a loop. Now we will get into those. The other thing that I want to touch on is if we go to our demo, you'll see that it breaks really nice. But if you look at the breakpoint up here, right, if you're watching, you'll notice that it's right around 497 that it breaks. That is a very magic number, and you might wonder where that number came from. The truth is, I didn't set that at all because this specific challenge does not use any breakpoints. So even some of the fonts, you'll see that they shrink down a little bit, right? They get really nice, and then they come back up. Everything is just really fluid and really elegant, okay? This is something referred to as intrinsic CSS or intrinsic design, a term coined by Jen Simmons, I believe. Very, very awesome CSS developer. I think she works with the Apple WebKit team now and doing really good work. So we're going to take this challenge on. And by the end of it, you'll be able to see that, yes, in fact, we do not need media queries to do responsive design, right? They can be a very useful tool. They are used in a lot of places, but you don't always need them. You don't always need them. So we're going to do that and those challenges that I was talking about, those little hiccups, as we get into it. So go download the assets. I'm not logged in at all, so I won't be able to see this, but go download those assets, open them into your editor, and start cleaning it up. I have done exactly that. So I have commented out the footer. I've gotten rid of the attribution styles, sorry, and I have added my style file. It is empty. We are going to fill it up very, very soon. Okay. So we need markup. Let's sort out the markup. Okay. On this, I'm going to go here and I'm going to set this right at the top. I'm going to wrap it. Whoops, do it proper like this. Wrap it with a H1 tag. Okay. So just like that. This is our callout. Okay. It's a different color. It's a little bit big. It is bold. So we are going to set that up with a paragraph tag. And inside of there, we're going to wrap it in a strong as well, so that we can hook into that strong and make it bold and chunky, okay? Right here, this is just a paragraph, but we will be styling it a little bit different as well. Excellent. And then grabbing all of this and wrapping it. Which tag should we use to wrap it? It's anybody's guess, okay? I'm feeling section right now, so I'm going to use section, but you could wrap it in a div or an article, whatever works for you. The only catch with a section is that it should start with an H tag, okay? Whether it's an H1 or an H6, it doesn't matter, but section, the first tag in there should be and some form of a heading, okay? Moving down, we have heading and why us. Multiple cursors for the win. We can grab those, wrap those up in an H2. This is a P tag, okay, but it's also pricing information. So I'm going to set it as price, and we're going to do a little bit of special stuff in there. In fact, we're going to need this part of that price to be wrapped in a strong again, okay, just so that we can hook into that because it is a little bit different. If we jump over here, right, this is bigger. This is this bit of text here actually has opacity on it. Some fun stuff going on there, okay? Moving down, this is just a paragraph. We can do that again. So there's a paragraph and, of course, our button, okay? So wrapping it up, button. This button should have a type equal to button, and that's so that if by some strange twist of fate we were to put this in a form, right? I don't recommend that, but if by some happenstance that happened, this button would not submit the form, okay? So we absolutely want that. Perfect. We can go and grab this, wrap it into a section tag. Excellent. Okay. The last bit, this is a list of whys. Okay. Why us? Each one of these is a reason why. It's a list. So based on that, we should probably wrap it in a list. Okay. We're going to knock out the bullets in a second. So I like to add that role equals list just to keep it nice and solid. And then the li. Okay. The li is currently wrapping everything, but if we add that star, that asterisk right after the li, now it attacks each line individually. Okay. Hit enter. Excellent. Okay. This one, grab this group, put it in a section. Done. Okay. Now we can grab all of these, all three sections, and wrap those with our main tag. That's going to have our challenge wrapper. I've been using that in all of these videos, so we're going to keep doing that today. And I'm going to put this in an article, okay, with a class of price grid. Don't forget the class. There it is. That's all we need today. Okay, we should be able to save that. I actually have that right here, and it's already looking pretty good, right? Without the styles, we have a lot of semantic stuff going on. Something going on with our H1 tag. That's because of how sections play with the H1 tag. Very interesting times. We will restyle that. No worries. We're going to get all that stuff. Okay. Inside of here, we can commit that if you want. So git status, git add dot, git commit dash m. That is, what is it? It's a feature for, can't type. There it is. Price grid, add markup. And you can see that I messed this up once already where I actually reset my branch. So fun times. Forgot to clear that out. Moving on. Styles. Styles are what we need, right? Let's do that. So right over here, I have my tokens, okay? And there are a lot. So if we look over here, this is a strange one where they only supplied 4 different colors, but there are a ton of colors used in here, okay? So the base colors, yes, cyan. I renamed this one to lime. That feels a little bit better to me. I might be wrong on there. Naming things is hard. We also have our gray. We have our blue, right? We have both those. One was our background. One was, I don't remember what the other one was, but I know that we use it, okay? And then we have things like the shadow, okay? So there's a shadow in there. We had white. They didn't talk about white. We have different opacities of white. So those will be used with text, okay? And then we have another shadow, which is on our button. It's just a black shadow, okay? So lots and lots of interesting stuff going on there. And we are going to use all of that, okay? Spacing. We have a lot of our spacing falling on the 4-point grid, but we also have some that doesn't. If this was an actual client project and I had access to the designer, I would go, hey, is there any way that we could make this 14 pixels 12 and this 18 16 and 26 24, right? I would have that conversation. Because I don't have access to the designer, I'm going to use these directly, right? And that way, when we do our side-by-side comparison, everything should line up pretty closely. But in professional work, I would have no hesitation asking the designer if they could simplify these. If they simplify them, it'll make their designs a little bit tighter and my life a little bit easier. So don't be afraid to ask, right? Don't be afraid to ask. 2 radiuses, one for the button, one for the component itself. All of our font information. This is our first place where we are avoiding media queries. I think I've used Utopia before inside of some of my other challenges, but using this clamp, we don't have to worry about any of that other stuff. Okay, it's a little bit of complex math in here, but we can go from our small size to our big size, and we have 3 of them. So 2024, 18, 15 to 18, 14 to 16. Those are actually our just this white block, right? So this heading, this call out, and this paragraph. Those are the only things that change. Down here, this doesn't, okay? So it will stay the same. But yeah, we do have to take care of these sizes. I also realized a mistake that I will talk about in a second, okay? And that is, I don't think I accounted for this spacing. We'll be able to do that as well. So I will come back to that, okay? So moving down the list, we have some font weights, some heights, some letter spacing. It's all in there. It's all looking really, really good. And then we get into our tier 2, right, where we rename some of these to make them easier for us to use. So we have our background colors, defaults, primary, secondary, tertiary, the button. We have our content, primary, highlight, knockout. Knockout is just white, right? If you have a white background and then a box with some color and the text on that is white, right? It looks like the text is the background color, like it's punching a hole through the whatever that color block is. So that's where the term knockout comes from. And of course, our opacities, 50%, 75%, we'll use those. Tons and tons of typography stuff. Again, it's all kind of in here, and we are going to use it all, okay? So some radius stuff, some shadow stuff, we have it all. It's all right here, okay? Good stuff. Moving down, we have our sensible globals, okay? Right here. I'm just going to paste them in. You've watched me type these a few times if you've been following these videos. It gets very boring in a hurry, so we can do that. Our body, it has a background color, this color. We don't actually need these last two. They came from Google Fonts, which we have to grab in a second here. But here's our first hiccup, okay? And I didn't really talk about this. Let's scroll up for a second. We have that letter spacing of minus 0.0125 M. M is very important here, okay? We're taking the letter spacing and dividing it by the font size. So if we jump back to our Figma file and click on this, you'll see that it is, where is it hiding? 24 pixels, minus 0.3 pixels, okay? Figma works in pixels. It's very weird to me, but minus 24 pixels, minus 0.3 pixels. If we do that math, it comes out to around minus 0.0125 M, okay? And the same thing with a lot of these. I think some of them, it would be a rounding error. So it comes out to something like minus 0.1222 M. And I've decided to round it up so it's consistent. But instead of having every single thing be its own line height, which would just be a lot of extra work. I've settled on one measurement, which I then use here. And you might be curious why body star and not just body. And that's because letter spacing is calculated at the time it is used. So based on this font size, whatever this is, this letter spacing would be calculated based on that, and it would just not work for the rest of our fonts, okay? By putting it down here on the star selector, it is guaranteed to be calculated wherever our other fonts are used. So our heading, right, our H1, that has a font. Well, because that's also a star, it'll calculate this letter size, letter spacing, okay? And we do exactly that right here. So we have the color on the heading, and then some font styles, the H2 font styles, strong. So here's something that I learned, and this is hiccup number 2, if you're keeping count, okay? Strong inside of Chrome and Firefox, but strangely enough, not in Safari, maybe I'm missing something there, has a default of bolder, okay? So bolder basically takes whatever the current font size is and makes it more, font weight, sorry, whatever the font weight is, and makes it more. If the paragraph font weight was 400, it makes it 700. If the paragraph font weight was 700, it makes it 900 because that's the maximum that you can do, right? If it was 100, it would probably make it 400, right? It's kind of adding 300 to whatever the measurement is. This is a problem because later on, we are going to add, if we jump back over here, we're going to add styles to this paragraph, this specific paragraph, okay? Not the strong, but the paragraph. And by doing that, it's going to make this way more bold than it needs to be. So I have chosen to force it to always be 700, weight 700, okay? You can play around with that later if you want, but that's why that's in there, okay? It's just to override the user agent styles. Down here, our styles. New to me is instead of using none, I've been using quotes. Quotes allow you to also maintain the semantic nature of lists. So when you set none, it gets rid of it, which is why we added role list. But we could actually get rid of role list and just use an empty string, and it would still do the same thing, at least in recent tests. Okay. So I choose to use both just because I like to hook into the attribute selector. That's me. You do you. Okay. Some font styles, very simple font styles. And then our button. Our button is always just lots of extra work, right? Because I like to add the cursor, and anytime we change either the border or the background, we need to do both. There's a font size in there, border radius, padding, box shadow. It's all in there. There's even a hover state. They actually didn't give us a hover state, but I made one. Okay. I just took the lightness of the background, the button color, and reduced it, made it a little bit darker. Okay. And then an exception to make it full width. So we can go and add that. We can actually go and check it out right away. So right here, okay, hover works, brilliant. And where's our button? It is right here. That is data-full width. Save it. Now it's huge. Okay, it won't be forever, but here we are. Okay, we can actually start adding some composition, start moving things around. Okay, right here. Oh, you know what? I also, okay, I'm going to paste these in. Let's come back to these in a second. I also forgot about the font, didn't I? I said we needed the font, and I just completely glanced over it. So the font is Carla today. We're going to get the embed codes. We only want Roman, right? You could set it to full access, but Roman and the full distribution of weights, even though we're only using 2. Copy that, paste it into our markup. Way up here, done. And then if we were starting from scratch, we could grab this as well, but I just copy and pasted a bunch of stuff. So let's go and look at that. Okay. Or I actually just copy and pasted the body. So that's where that is. Okay. Right over here, things are going to move around, but now it's using our font. So I kind of lost my place there with adding the font. Sorry about that. But now we're in good shape to use these compositions. And we have the 3 that we've seen before, 2 that we've seen before, and 1 that we've used at least once before. Okay, the flow is so that we do our vertical spacing. The challenge wrapper centers things up in the page for us. And then we have this cluster. And cluster is a way for us to align things vertically while allowing them to still be side by side. We really only use this on the price. So we can totally do that right now. Where is price? It is here. Done. Okay. And then we go and grab our section tags. There are 3 of them. Add a class equal to flow. Okay. Now if we go and look at it, everything's starting to space out. You'll notice that there's no space between this heading and this paragraph. or this button and this heading. And that's because each one of these is its own box. We haven't added any spacing for that yet. Okay. We're going to do that right now. Okay. So down here we have, no, not here. Sorry. In the styles, we have dash price grid. Okay. And we have what? Well, we have border radius. Okay. That border radius is going to be radius large. Okay. That's where that's coming from. Because we're going to change the background colors of some of the sections, we also need to add in overflow hidden. Otherwise, that background will fill and we won't be able to see our rounded corners, right? And then our box shadow, which is right. Ooh, let's do it on a new line here. Box shadow and dash dash shadow default. Okay. The other thing that I want to add here is background color, which is dash dash background primary. Okay. Primary is our white color. So we're going to do that right now. We can go and take a look. Excellent. Okay. Now, how about the padding? We don't put the padding here. We put the padding on the children, on the sections, right? So price grid, go and get each of those sections and add our padding. But remember, I said before that I actually made a mistake and we need to fix it right now. So originally I had this as space 500, which will do this, but this isn't quite right. This is not quite right. And the reason for that is because if we go here, it is 40 pixels here. That is 500. And this is 40 pixels, 500. Okay. But inside of here, it's 24. Okay. And this one, 24, right? So I've made a mistake and I didn't cover that. I'm glad I caught it right now on camera. We're going to do it freestyle. Okay. So over here, we're going to go Utopia, FYI. We're going to go and find that clamp. Okay. And our sizes. Now our sizes, we can actually borrow from this. Let's do that really fast. Okay. Where is that? Up a little higher. Brilliant. Okay. So 375, 635, and we need one more. Okay. That one more is going to be 24 to 40. Okay. So 24 to 40, it's going to show up as a font size. We actually only want the clamp. Okay. So I'm going to go and grab that right here and bring it back. Okay. That's going to go up under our spacing. Okay. Dash dash space dash 24 to 40. And we should use that clamp. Okay. Now it's not 1.5. It is 24, which is space 300. Okay. So right here, var space 300. And then this one, 2.5, 2.5 rem, sorry, throwing me for a loop there, but this is 400, okay? So from 24 pixels to, or sorry, did I do that right? Checking it, 40, yes, to 500, to 24 pixels to 500 pixels. Now, we should use this. Okay, it's going to jump around, but that is okay. So way down here, we can change this to be that. Okay. So if this works, let's try it, because I'm a little bit scared. I'm doing this live on camera for you. So right here, things are going to get a little bit, did I refresh this? Oh, there it is. Okay. So right here, it starts to get big and it gets small. Big, small. I don't know if you can see that, but the space between here, it's pretty small here, pretty big here. We are in good shape, okay? I missed that, so mistake on my part, but I'm glad I caught it for you so that you can see it live. And you can see how I use that calculator, okay? Moving on, we have this, okay? And this still needs a few extra things. We could have put that background color down here, just for the record. Take it or leave it. I think it's okay on the price grid. That way, if all these styles fall through, there's still something that works. But down here, we're going to add in a data attribute, okay? This is going to be data block. Come on, type it right. There it is. Data block equals what? Well, it equals secondary, okay? And we're going to set the background color to be -- background secondary, okay? And we can do that same thing down here for tertiary, okay? It's going to auto quote it. Doesn't matter, okay? But we do need to use this. So right over here, we still have all of our multiple cursors. Let's go data block equals cursors jumping around, primary. And then this one is secondary. And this one is tertiary, okay? So we have added a data block to style these, to add that color, okay? Because they are exceptions. They are different from the standard one, the primary one, okay? So based on that, we should be able to go back here, hit refresh, and now we can start to see some colors. I totally did not change the second color. Let's go and do that really fast. This also should be tertiary. There it is. Boom. Now it's looking good, right? Where are our colors? Okay, we could add color to each of these. I think it's actually better to grab this, come up here, hit a comma, change this to tertiary, okay? And then go color of -- content knockout, okay? Remember, knockout is white. So things are starting to take shape, okay? There's still a few things that we need to do. One of which is probably commit. I haven't committed in a while. So let's go do that really fast to make sure that I'm okay. I have been a bad person. So git diff. Here we go. We added our styles. We added just a bunch of stuff. Oh, too much. Git add dot git commit -m. This is style. Price grid. Set it to add lots of defaults. That's a terrible message. I did not do well there. Please, I hope that you're doing better, okay? So we need to do some stuff with the price. We're going to leave the price alone. Our responsiveness, we're going to leave the responsiveness alone. We're just going to take care of some of the spacing, okay? So let's start with this top block up here. We actually haven't added one of those yet. So let's go and grab this again, copy it, and paste it in, make it primary, okay? And now from here, we're going to add in some styles, specifically around the paragraphs. We have 2 of them, right? So there is first of type. I don't know why my autocomplete isn't working anymore, but first of type, just like this. And P, come on, last of type. So these are our 2 different things, right? If we're looking at that, that's this paragraph here and this paragraph here, okay? It's not letting me select them because I'm in responsive mode and hey, the fun times. But paragraph first of type, okay? This one has a font of dash dash call out, and that should be all we need for that. Okay. The second one has a little bit of a spacing change and a font. So the font is body large. Where is it here? Oh, I didn't even type the dash dash and it still worked. But dash dash flow dash space is dash dash space 175. It's one of those odd ones. Okay. I wish it wasn't, but there's that. Okay. So refresh that. Everything gets just a little bit tighter, a little bit nicer. And again, so here's the example. Okay. Scroll back up, disabling font weight for just a second on strong. And now it's way too chunky. Okay. Because it is set to font weight 900. We don't want that. So we set it here and then we can get on with our lives. Okay. So that is our primary block. On our secondary block, actually on both of these, we need something to do with H2. Actually, it's something to do with whatever comes after the H2, okay? And for that, we have our dash dash flow space. Come on, flow space, which is going back dash dash space 175. Yeah, we're using that odd one. Didn't wrap it up, did it? Let's do that proper. Var, there we go. So that's all there. That's making things just a little bit tighter between whatever the heading is and whatever comes next. Okay. Moving down the page, we have inside of secondary. Could we have put it up here as a button? Absolutely. So here's the button and dash dash flow dash space. Again, just controlling the space, right? Which is var dash dash space 175. There's a lot of them. Could we have put that up here? Yeah, we could have. Okay. Probably makes sense there, but there it is. And then because we're here, keeping things going, we have color, which is dash dash color. Whoops. Content 175. Okay. So there's that. Saving it, going back, refreshing. Right? It's just a little bit less, looking really sharp. Okay. The last thing we need to do is take care of this price, right? The price is a little bit off, and there's some weird spacing here that we'll also take care of. Okay. So for the text content, sorry, that's not the last thing, but for the text content, let's go and sort out price. Okay. Just like this. And that is going to be a couple things. First, let's add in our color, which is knockout. Okay. And then inside of there, we go strong, not string, strong, and add in a color of knockout as well. For some reason, if you don't do this, it's going to retain the strong color, and we don't want that. So dash dash knockout as well. Okay. And the font, okay, which is dash dash typography price. There it is. Excellent. Okay. Going down below, we have whatever this is plus whatever comes after it. Okay. This is kind of an odd place. I don't know if this is the right place to do this, but I'm just going to blast it out. So right here, anything that comes after price should have a little bit of a tighter vertical space. Okay. So that's var dash dash space 50 way down here. There it is. It's doing things because I forgot the semicolon. Go and clean it out. Excellent. Okay. We can go and check this out. Refresh. Everything's a little bit more. Okay. We are missing something. And I just realized that I actually did it backwards. So right here on this color, it should be 50. Okay. That's better. Okay. The other thing that we need is to take care of this horizontal space between these two things. It should be tighter, okay? So we can do that because we use that cluster. We have cluster space, and that's going to be dash dash space 150 right at the top. Excellent, okay? There it is. We now have all of our textiles in place, and they all look really, really good, okay? The only other thing that we need to do is take care of how we're getting these two blocks side by side. And we do that with a new composition, okay? So we're getting into the end game. It's been a little bit long, but we're getting there. So let's figure out how to position these without using media queries, okay? Up to our compositions, right here after cluster, I'm going to call this halves. Naming things is hard. You can name this whatever you want, okay? But this is going to be display flex. It's going to be flex wrap wrap, okay? And inside of here, we are going to add in some children. Actually, you know what? We can see this right now. Let's do it a little bit at a time. So this is halves. Not quite what we want, right? That, I mean, close, but not quite. So let's go do some work. And I hinted at that with this. So we're going to grab all those children and add in flex, okay? There it is. It can grow, yes. It can shrink, yes. And we're going to set it to 225 pixels for the basis, okay? The basis is kind of a recommendation. I mentioned the word intent at the start of this video, right? We're trying to get into intrinsic design where we are specifying an intent and then letting the browser act on that. And that's what Flex Basis does. It sets that intent. I want it to be 225 pixels as a minimum or as a recommended size. If it has to grow, it can grow. If it has to shrink, it can shrink. But 225 is my starting place. And from there, this will work when we get smaller. Now, it's not going to work the way that you think, okay? It kind of wants to, but, right? There's the responsiveness, but these two things should be side by side, not the white and the cyan, but the cyan and lighter cyan, okay? And the way that we do that is with another exception. So right down here, we're going to add in data full width. We used that before for the button, but we can also use it here as an exception. There's no harm, okay? Flex basis is going to be 100%, okay? Do this right, too many dashes, copy this, save it, bring it over here, and for the first section, right after data block, we just put data full width. And now it is pretty close, right? And by pretty close, I mean there are a couple little weird bits in here that we need to take care of. So let's go open the image, okay? Open the folder, down into the design, we get the desktop design, we open that inside of my favorite utility, CleanShot X, bringing this over, cropping it, pinning it, reducing the opacity, lots of stuff going on here, bringing our browser back, and look at that, right? It's so close. Something going on with the button. The button has the wrong space. What did I do there? So go and check on our button. Moving this, going back to style. Button. It is right. Oh, it's down, isn't it? Right here. Flow space 175. Is that what that was supposed to be? I suspect, yes, this is not right. It should be 400. Okay. So refresh it again. That looks a little bit better. Okay. Pretty close. Okay. If we really wanted to, we could tighten it up a little bit more. Okay. It's a little bit off. We could make it that 375 instead. So going back here, it's hard to see with this thing in the way. So 375, save it. Going back, refreshing, and pretty close. It's still a little bit shaky. now it's a little bit high, I think. But that's me playing live on camera. Okay. So there it is. We did it. We should commit one more time, and then I want to talk about one thing. Okay. And that's a bit of frustration, but let's do the commit first. Okay. Git add dot, git commit -m style, add new composition. Too many eyes. There it is. Excellent. Okay. So what did we do? Right? We have all this. It lines up. It works really well. We even have responsiveness. So right around here, it'll do that fancy break, right? We have some hover styles, which don't really work in this view because of how it's working, but it's all just there. So what is the problem, right? Well, the problem is that if you send this to Frontend Mentor, it will fail. It won't fail completely. It'll just fail on this specific box. This specific box will come out looking like a completely different color. It'll look closer to the lime green than it will to this cyan. And I have to think that that is because of either the version of headless Chrome that they're using to take screenshots, or the abilities of whatever server they're using. Okay, that specific color is related all the way up here. Okay, so if we go to our colors, where's it hiding? It is right. Should be right here. Okay. So we did a color mix, and their version of headless Chrome or whatever, it doesn't want to use this properly. So the colors will come out looking very wrong. And I don't want to leave you in a bad space, in a bad place if you're using this to potentially get a job, right? If you're uploading these challenges to Frontend Mentor and gathering it up and then showing the world what you've done as a way of trying to get a job, and then having people go in and see that the color is completely off, that's not really a great thing. Okay. So here's what we can do. We can skip this. I don't really want to, but we can. Okay. So I'm going to leave it here for a moment, but if we go to our secondary color, which is way down here, okay, we're going to use this again down here. So technically we could drop it up into this block, but stay with me. Right now I'm just trying to clean things up. Okay. So background color is now secondary, which means that the whole thing is that cyan. Not a problem. Okay. And then right here, we're going to add in a background image. Okay. And that image is going to be a linear gradient. Okay. Now, where is it going from? Where is it going to? It doesn't really matter. Okay. All we need is two of the exact same color. And that is 0, 100%, 100%, and our percentage, which is 15.19%. That was used up above. Okay. So we grab all of this, copy it, paste it in. We've basically made an image with a flat color. Okay. Save it, go back and refresh. And now if you send this to Frontend Mentor, it should be pretty close. Again, some of these, you'll get a little bit of vibration in some of these text selections, because of how I did letter spacing and whatnot, but this is pretty good. And if I was doing client work, I would have no problem sharing this with a designer and going, what do you think? Right? What do you think? Especially when you consider this extra bonus, okay? Right up here, if I go to my colors and I grab that secondary cyan and change it to, say, tomato, okay? Tomato. Now, everything just works, okay? That color is still playing really nice here. We changed the text color. That's the only reason that we selected both of those. And it looks very pretty, okay? We can change these colors really quickly and really easily. So, to recap, right? We started out with just some text. We wrapped it into some boxes and we added some styles. And the whole thing, there is not a single media query. I think that is the big win here, okay? And just, it all just works, which is brilliant, okay? Which leads to the question, what do you think, right? Let's get into the comments. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you hate it, if you like it, if you were surprised by something. Some of those edge cases, like the fact that strong has a default of bolder, that surprised me when I was working through this. Hopefully it doesn't surprise you going forward, okay? And as always, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.